What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and if there's one thing that's always going to ring true in the modern pop culture world is that someone somewhere is always offended by something. One of the most insufferable groups of the modern age are the Feminists. A group so self-loathing they can't help but make everyone as miserable as they are. I've already covered quite a bit of this kind of stuff recently, like Cammy from Street Fighter being too hot for modern day feminists to accept. But now it turns out there's another sacrificial lamb upon the woke feminist altar, and that's Megan Fox. This entire butthurt argument comes from the brain rot site known as thegamer.com, which said, Diablo 4's Megan Fox advert is sexist and dated, but it didn't need to be. You can already smell the fury boiling from this title alone. And look, it's Stacey Henley again as well writing this. She's also responsible for the infamous Cammy outfit article as well. Before we read the article, in case you haven't seen Blizzard's ad featuring Megan Fox, here it is in full.
Diablo 4 is here. It's time for you to meet your bloody fate. And I want to see it. Post your endgame death with hashtag Diablo Deaths, and in return I may bestow upon you some words of honor. Or scorn.
And now let's hear out Stacey, and I quote, Before Diablo 4, the previous Diablo game came out in 2012, and it seems like some of the marketing is stuck there. In one trailer doing the rounds on social media, Megan Fox stands before us in her underwear, telling us in a sultry, slightly disaffected tone that Diablo 4 has buckets of blood. She also encourages players to send in their best deaths for her to eulogize, where she'll decide if you went out like a champion or a chump. It's a pretty classic case of hiring a hot girl to promote a video game with an on-the-nose obliviousness we haven't seen since the days of the booth babes. But in the modern world, it makes for an interesting case study. Obviously, there's no need to intellectualize your horniness here. Megan Fox has been hired because she is a recognizable hot girl. Not just in that she is clearly physically attractive, but for the late 20s to early 30s audience, she is the quintessential hot girl they had on posters in their bedrooms. It's not rocket science. Megan Fox is there to be a hot girl for men to look at and desire. Given how much more inclusive gaming has become, not just as a generic buzzword, but as a tangible demographic, it's not just men playing video games anymore, and when you target only men, you are ignoring a significant portion of your player base. It's easy to say that Diablo's advert is sexist and dated, and given Blizzard is in the midst of several sexual harassment scandals, it's also not a particularly wise promotion or indicative of the studio changing its culture. The people criticizing it aren't wrong, but it's interesting to see an advert so dated in its presentation these days when just a small tweak could have made it a hit. Imagine the advert plays out the exact same way, but instead of Megan Fox, it's Lilith, the game's antagonist. Lilith has an hourglass figure and foreboding frame, has her femininity heightened even with her fearsome physical power, and her words drip sensuously. The same sex appeal, the same strategy, the same story, a new character. Everything would be fixed, even Fox dressed as Lilith would change the context. Whether it be Lady Dimitrescu who lures men to their death or Lilith who fuels your basest desire to corrupt you, both of these characters use their sexuality to dominate others. Fox, on the other hand, has been hired to look pretty. She is objectified and her character, this fictional and sexual version of herself, is powerless in this situation, a trophy of fantasy to be looked at and lusted over with no say in the matter. And there is a world where Blizzard could have used Megan Fox to hit each demographic. She's openly bisexual and raises her children without gender norms and is therefore a popular figure amongst progressives. Show her playing the game and laughing, maybe teasing the camera a little bit, and you get the sex appeal of Fox along with more personality. Having her stand there in her underwear and delivering lines like a findom doesn't have the same impact. Blizzard's advert is sexist and dated, but there are million little changes that could have saved it, end quote. Look, I know I crap a lot on thegamer.com, but my god, it's incredible they always find a way to victimize themselves on others' behalfs, don't they? Megan Fox is without a doubt smoking hot. Anyone who really says otherwise is either jealous or they're blind. While the Gamer does make a good point that Blizzard does smokescreen their controversies with other news stories, like announcing something identity related for Overwatch 2 for example to hide employees drinking each other's breast milk, In this case anyway, this ad is great and is exactly what Diablo needs to sell. Like I've said before, consumers love attractive people selling them stuff. It's why you always see actors and models when things like cologne or makeup is being advertised. Nobody wants to see unattractive people trying to sell them something. And when companies push that, you end up with stuff like that Dove gaming ad, which was hilariously out of touch. Sexy women sell stuff. It's not exactly rocket science, and I'm obviously not the first or last person who will say that. I also find it funny how the gamer says Megan Fox's portrayal here is reminiscent of the booth babes from E3. It was a long time ago, back in 2006, God I'm old, EA banned the booth babe shtick from their event, citing it was sexist and was only used to objectify women. But the thing is, if you want to sell your products, a really easy way to do it is to hire some hot ladies and the rest is gravy. Why do you think when you go to a restaurant it's usually full of attractive people waiting to help you? Because it's been proven that customers will return to a business if the staff are attractive. It's how bars and restaurants gain regular patrons that come by to see their favorite servers. I mean, Japan has an entire industry built around the freaking concept. What's also funny is how the gamer Stacey Henley is so against anything that she deems offensive against the feminine sphere. But I'll wager if she's like any other feminist out there, she probably advocates that stuff like sex work is real work. And since the legitimization of sexual work is a big thing progressives like to champion, it's ironic they're mad when women use their sexuality to make money like Megan Fox is doing here, yet have no problem when someone is getting their holes resized behind a monthly subscription fee. It's such a tiring and oftentimes selective form of outrage that is no doubt pushed by places like the gamer because they don't like hot women. But it's ironic that this sort of criticism only ever goes one way, because if it was Henry Cavill in a tight shirt with a beard telling you to play Diablo, these same feminists would be throwing themselves at him like World War Z zombies. And I'd also like to point out that once E3 banned booth babes, the entire event slowly over time began to fade into irrelevancy. E3 as a whole was eventually replaced by things like Nintendo Directs and Sony State of Plays. Because promoting at E3 was both expensive as hell and largely from a physical standpoint anyway, there was no reason for it to exist. So in a lot of ways, I guess you could say one of the major reasons E3 died was because they eliminated one of the key reasons why anyone would want to show up in person in the first place, which is the booth babes. We've seen already how companies lose money when they don't cater to male audiences and the things that they like. Saints Row, for example, was a successful franchise that pushed toilet humor and busty babes. But once the progressives infiltrated Volition, they threw what worked out of Saints Row and made a reboot about a bunch of nobodies, and the game flopped. But when companies do cater to the male audience, it's no surprise that they get rewarded big time. Diablo IV right now is Blizzard's biggest launch of all time. And it's because Blizzard is doing everything the complete opposite of what they're doing with Overwatch. Let me show you what I mean. Overwatch 2 pushes woke gender ideologies and does things like ban police cars on multiplayer maps. Because progressives don't like police, yet if they're in trouble, who do they call? Yeah, I know, it's stupid as hell. Anyway, Overwatch is marketed as inclusive and full of rainbows and stuff, and that franchise is dying. Diablo, on the other hand, has lots of blood, lusty demon women who look like they could throw me across the room, and use sexuality in its marketing to coerce players, and the results speak for themselves. Look, you can sit there arms crossed, huffing and puffing all you want that gamers are sexist, but let's be real. Dudes like sexy women with mommy milkers. Like, am I wrong? Why am I even asking? Of course I know I'm right. Comment you're right if you agree, because I already know I am, but I just want to prove a point. There's that other part of the gamers rant where they say Megan Fox is woke and raises her kids without gender norms, and they should have showcased her sitting on a couch having fun and making quips, but like, it's rated M for mature. Why would Megan Fox's weird little crotch goblins be featured in a commercial about a game they're not even legally allowed to buy? Also, why does it matter how Megan Fox raises her kids? Most people phase out of that gender stuff when they reach adulthood anyway. It has no place when it comes to showcasing Diablo IV. This is a game about ripping demons into flesh confetti, not rainbow flags and pronouns. And having a hot girl promote your game is going to do two things for sure. One is that it'll push people to buy the game if they were on the fence about it, and two, it'll make many men's downstairs rise like Batman in The Dark Knight Rises. And we all know men tend to make moronic decisions when they think with their other head, which I'm sure Blizzard is counting on here when it comes to buying Diablo. And honestly, Kudos to them, this ad is like a 4D chess move that has no counter. It's brilliant.
Hey, good job, Rogue. I loved that part where you panicked and got crushed like an itty-bitty baby.
Although I will agree with the gamer when they suggest that Megan Fox should have cosplayed as Lilith for the commercial. I'm just saying, seeing Megan Fox with some horns and some CGI wings, calling us all naughty, I'm just saying, but it's no surprise that this Diablo ad will work when it comes to selling the game because there's tons of people out there who have kink shames. And you're telling me Blizzard will get Megan Fox to kink shame us if we send in our terrible Diablo deaths? It's genius marketing.
Good riddance to you. Not because I wish you ill, but because when you go down, you do it with style. You've got flair. I could watch you die all day.
Maybe first place winners could get a trip to Pegland while they're at it? Or I mean, it's just a suggestion, of course. Lady D for Mezi 8 is proof that sexiness can propel your game to massive heights, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lilith looking the way she does didn't have some connection to Lady D's massive mommy figure too. Look, we can sit here all day dancing around the idea and lie to ourselves by saying we don't like seeing sexy stuff, but let's just say it for what it is. Sexy women are like the cheat code to promoting things. What was that saying again? Sex sells? Whoever came up with that was cooking for real. Cause it's absolutely true regardless of the era we're living in. Feminists can want all the censorship and ugly Dove gaming ads they want, but if Blizzard wants to keep the Diablo gravy train going, they better double down and get some even more sexy ladies to promote their games. They could literally have a 10-second ad where Megan Fox calls the audience bad boys and girls, and people would start barking without constraint in response. It's not hard, guys. Stop trying to act holier than thou and believe there's some feminist way we can sell products without using sexuality, when the truth is that sexuality is femininity. Women are by nature beautiful creatures, and any woman out there who doesn't recognize that their inherent beauty doesn't give them an advantage is straight up lying. And just to quickly dismantle Stacey Henley's point further, she also says in the article that the Diablo ad ignores the female side of the player base with how Megan Fox is depicted. Hello? In what universe are most women not in some way also attracted to sexy women? If you had some frumpy feminist in a cardigan yelling about the patriarchy in a Diablo ad, fans' wallets would dry up faster than a feminist you-know-what. So if any marketing person is watching this, don't listen to thegamer.com on this at all. We want more sexy ladies in video games, more babes in media, and absolutely keep doing things like Blizzard did here with Megan Fox. Women are beautiful creatures, and it'd be a shame to not embrace that, so stop trying to push the narrative that sexy women shouldn't be shown in media. That's how we ended up in this ugly and boring era of character designs in the first place. Sex absolutely sells, and my dear friends, there ain't a damn thing that the gamer or any other woke feminist website can do about it, and I'm all here for it. Like the video to help the channel out, subscribe for more content like this one, and thank you for watching as always. Have a great day, bless Megan Fox's twin sisters, and I'll see you in the next one.